is up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of the True Earth Debates. That's right, we are in search of intelligent life over in the trenches of TikTok, and I'm so glad that you could join us today. We've had quite a long day for shows, though, so we will try to keep things quick, concise, to the point. Let's not spend too much time just lollygagging. I know that there was a lot of real estate out there tonight, so without further ado, let's dive right on in, starting off with the shout out. Huge ups to Justin Johnson. Wow, that's going to be a doozy. King Shish. How do I join your Discord, fella? Well, that's the thing. We're going to have to make a new one. Our Discords got taken down thanks to the Anti Disinformation League. What are you going to do? Jess Palmer, what is up, my friend? We got Green Chili Bear, Tapered Bodies, Flatman X. What is up, my friend? Maybe you will join us in the debates. Who knows? We have Ruhif. What is up, my friend? Sorry, it is not a Zoom one today. It is a TikTok one. So I already know how you feel about those. We have Plain Reality. We have Lord Racer. And we have Rashad. Welcome to the club. All right. Moving over to Rockfin, we have Nominal in the chat and 7 other legends watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting the content creators. If you're off to a great start. If you're in the community and you're not supporting the truthers on Rockfin, I'm really not sure what the holdup is for you. It is cheaper than an expensive meal, by a lot. Not even an expensive meal, a mediocre meal, right? At this day and age, $20, right? Barely feed the family. So with that, you can go ahead and support not only myself, but a ton of other content creators as well, as long as you are able to. Much love to everybody out there. Let's go ahead and bring up the big guns here. So we have the TikTok already firing away on all cylinders, but they are getting absolutely terrible audio because my headset's not plugged in. So we are definitely going to have to fix that after I get my green screen back up. Whoops. It always tries to take it away. Love it. Absolutely love it. People will be diving in there in just a moment. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right on into it. If you are on TikTok, feel free to follow me over at Troubling Tribune. If you have 1,000 followers, then you too can go live as well. Folks, welcome to the True Earth Debate. We'll be with you in just a second. Want to get things pulled over for our friends over on Rockfin and on YouTube. Guys, if you are joining us and you're not subscribed to the YouTube or Rockfin, you're missing out on a lot of stuff, right? But we're getting stuff kicked off here right just now. So appreciate you guys joining us. Smash the like. Let's go ahead and get this thing to 5,000 ASAP so that we can get some Globers in here and have the conversation. Welcome again to the True Earth Debate. I'll help you out with the likes here. And folks, let's get you pulled over in the display. Get a look at the back end just for a moment. And
get a look at the back end just for a moment.
Watch this live.
And
boom.
We are there. Let's watch this live. Boom. No more doubling up on the audio. Sorry for those of you who had to deal with that for just a second. Let's go ahead and smash the likes, guys. Let's get this up to 5,000 ASAP. Share the show. Let's get a dynamic panel. Welcome to the True Earth Debate. I'm your host, MrTribune. We have an exciting show for you today. Now, here we have the position of the flat plane with topography over top, right? So that means that there is no curvature. We are not a sphere in space or a pear, however you want to word it, flying in 4 different directions, tilting, wobbling in 4 different rotations, 4 different axes apparently, and also whipping millions of miles per second through space. But that is my position. If you disagree, then hop on in the box. Edward Jennings says it's spherical. Folks, if you agree with Edward, then go ahead and feel free to jump on in the box. We won't gang up. Right now, it's just me. So we try to keep it 1-on-1 or 2v2. That way we keep things nice and fair and people can actually land their plane. We got 200 people in here already. I'm sure there is some Globers. The Earth is not flat. go ahead and put your money where your mouth is. I'll go ahead and start by providing some positive evidence towards the flat Earth claim, and that would be that radio wave. Sorry, I'll just make it blanket term, right? Electromagnetic propagation requires line of sight, right? That's how it works. We are sending radio waves, microwaves, literally line of sight with mirror flashes and infrared photography, and we are able to go way beyond the geometric or the supposed geometric horizon that is demanded by the globe model. Not only that, but the way that we measure the floors of the ocean, right? We're not gonna do that kind of thing, right? Hit the guest box if you are a glober. I'm not gonna do the host v host thing. They always get me with that with the first one. So let's go ahead and get somebody real in here, right? Can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum without a container. Sorry, Globers. Pony face corn pop. Well said. Right? Anybody have a refutation for that? Globers, you're up. How is it that we can exist in a space vacuum? Right? This doesn't make any sense. Yes, you can. 5150 disagrees. Hop in the box, man. Explain yourself. Shoot everyone down who makes sense. Let's go ahead and hear it, right? How many hand wave dismissals could I possibly do? I bet that you guys can't present an argument that doesn't stack at least 3 fallacies on top of each other. But prove me wrong. Hop in the box. Navigation is impossible on a flat Earth. In fact, navigation is only done on a flat Earth. It doesn't work on a globe, right? So not unless you presuppose all kinds of weird changes in the magnetic field, then you can, I guess, make it work. But isn't that ad hoc, right? It's not really proof of anything. How does Polaris stay in the same place every single year? That's right. Wouldn't we have seen it move half a degree in 35 years? I think we would have. I think that the Georgia Guidestones would have verified that. It's a shame that they blew it up, whoever they are. Celestial navigation. Nice. Polaris Australis, right? So there's another pole in the sky, in the stars, right? Who cares? Whatever's going on with the sky cannot verify what's going on with the ground, right? I have 2 light bulbs in my ceiling. Does that mean that my room is a sphere? Come on, bro. People don't live upside down on a globe. That would happen. LOL. That's awesome. Well, they're going to beg the question, presuppose gravity, sticking everybody towards a center of mass. I wonder if any globers in there could demonstrate that gravity is, in fact, a radial force pulling everything to a center of mass instead of just a downward vector that we measure, right? It's not a spoof account, 5150. Hop in the box. Let's see if you can have the conversation. We know latitude due to north and south celestial. Yeah, that's just called taking measurements, right? Angle measurements. But you do that off of a flat Earth, right? Admittedly. So tell me this, right? All this spherical assumptions aside, probably due to the way that we see, how is it that we measure the oceans completely flat, completely level, right? We don't assume any curvature at all with them. And then we base level off of that sea level, which is horizontal all the way across as well, right? Can you explain the jet stream? What's there to explain? There's a current of air above us, right? You're asking how it might be possible, maybe something along the lines of Mach's principle. The same thing that causes all the rotational effects in your guys' model, we can just attribute to Mach's principle in ours. So there we go. Or, a spinning rotation of a magnetic field above us, right? Big Dave, hop in the box, man. Let's see if you can verify your claim. Basically accusing me of LARPing, right? I bet I know your model better than you do. Are we going to get anybody in the box at all, or is it just going to be a bunch of keyboard warriors tonight? If so, it's going to be a short one. My God. Would be one hell of an impressive conspiracy, right? You know, and it's not like the government has ever been caught doing conspiracies before, right? Like MK Ultra, or now they're claiming to come out with the UFOs, right? So they've never misled us before. But I personally don't believe in UFOs. I think that's a farce in on itself. But in any case, the Southern Cross shows true south. Who cares, right? How can you even verify over vast oceans the actual placement, the angle that the continents are positioned, right? You can't verify that. Aircraft flying over non-rotating Earth, NASA, thanks. Yeah, there's over 41 different documents that state Earth as a non-rotating flat plane, right? That's, again, electromagnetic propagation over a flat Earth. That's light, that's microwaves, that's radio signals. That's also sonar, right? Did you know that whales can communicate over 10,000 miles using something called the deep sound channel? That's right, folks. Not only is light and electromagnetic waves going to bend via refraction through the air up above in the atmos, but it's also going to have sound refracting just perfectly to go around the curvature of the Earth under the sea, right? Which would be an even tighter arc if you think about it, right? The closer you get to the center, the smaller the radius would get. So there you have it. We were able to go 10,000 miles, right, with sonar. So, wow, impressive. That would be impressive evidence of a flat Earth, right, if you don't presuppose the perfect bending of sound through this channel that you assume is there, that you have not measured, but it has to be there because the Earth is a globe, right? Man, a lot of keyboard warriors. Nobody really wants to go ahead and hop in the box. It's really sad and unfortunate. I'm not that intimidating, right? I could dumb it down for you guys a bit if it would encourage you to hop in, right? Water finds its level, right? Level water means level earth. Prove me wrong. No one claims there is an edge. It's not a disk in space. That's right. That is a straw man fallacy, right? So again, you guys, Globers cannot make arguments without stacking fallacies. Yo, bro, can you please explain the different seasons with the flat Earth? Simple. The seasons are caused due to the relative position of the sun over the Earth. In a flat Earth, the sun is making a circle over top of the Earth, and it stays between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, right, drifting throughout the year. So that's why the hemiplanes, right? That's why the seasons are separated by the hemiplane and not by sides of the Earth, right? Because one part of the year it's making a tighter loop in the north, creating the northern summer. In the other part, it's creating a loop that's more over the southern hemiplane, thus creating the southern winter. Now, what doesn't make sense is that if the seasons are caused by this 23-degree tilt, right? If it's just the tilt, then why is it that I'm getting again direct sunlight in the summer, like a few hours after sunrise, and it's hot as hell? But in the winter, it's all the way up above my head, and yet it's still pretty cool. So the angle thing doesn't make very much sense. Not to mention the distance is it's ridiculous, right? It's like what 3 million miles closer in the southern winter, right? So explain that one to me. Hemiplane doesn't make sense. Yeah, only if you can't read. Explain how Alaska is dark while all around it's light at the same time. Good luck. Yeah, again, I just did with the seasons. Hope you were listening. Keyboard warriors, feel free to hop on in the box, right? I can't address all the comments, so if you really think you have a good argument, right, maybe one that you haven't heard here before, please enlighten us. Didn't hear a thing. Sorry, I don't feel like explaining it again. Go to my YouTube, rewatch the whole thing. You can catch the conversation there. What happens when you come to the edge? Who knows, man? What if there's not an edge? What if there's just more land and they're just keeping us in this circle of the known world, right? More real estate would be a great reason to create a lie that everything has been explored and that there's nowhere else to go. But again, that's just speculation, right? Never mind the books, the Iron Curtain, things like that that depict other lands outside the known world. Who knows? Conspiracy is your answer for everything. Yeah, we've been lied to. You're gonna have to get over it, right? That is part of it. Do you believe in aliens? Right. Well, what are aliens? I think there's things out there that aren't being explained to us fully. Do I believe they're from outer space, like deep outer space, the Horseshoe Nebula, 300 million light years away? Absolutely not. I think that's ridiculous. Are you aware of Pangea? Can you verify Pangea? Write your congressman and ask him to go to Antarctica. See what happens. That's super funny. What does that even mean, dude? I can pick arbitrary locations on a ring outside of the known world if it's a big ice ring, or even a continent, even, right? What if it's just due to the magnetic field? It takes us all to this ice continent at the bottom of, or sorry, say at the bottom, right? Turn of phrase. Been educated, right, in the school systems my whole life, like all of you Globers out there. So we do come from the same place, right? But I'm not claiming to have the end-all be-all perfect model, but I do think that my model explains a little bit better than what your model does if I don't have to invoke all this crazy cosmic woo to explain, which we can't verify, right? Like, explain dark matter. Don't have to. Explain gravity. Don't have to. You can't prove that it's a radial force. Flat Earth does make sense. Hell no fam HR. Good company. All right, everybody's too chicken. Admiral Byrd claimed aliens exist. Who cares? Keyboard warriors. What do I got to do? Dangle a carrot? I dumbed it down. I got this cool graphic. It's just little old me. I won't bite. It's sad, really. You can't dismiss history. Absolutely, I could in a debate setting. History is literally not science, right? Why are we going to space? Are we? Who knows? I would like to know exactly what they're doing with all that money as well. If you would too, and like NASA to be completely transparent with everything 100%, regardless of what model you believe in, then I recommend that you support Audit NASA, right? You could even be a part of it and then find out exactly what NASA is doing. Again, don't have to be a flat earther for that. That anybody should want to know what the government is doing with their money, right? It's like $60 million a day. It's a lot. Can you imagine what kind of evidence I would have to provide if you guys gave me $60 million of taxpayer money? I'll go in the box with you. Gen X, click it. Is my box even working, by the way? Can someone like jump in, regardless of what I know you got plenty of flatties in here as well. Someone just verify that it's working. That way we can make sure that this is. I see no box. Wow. Is this really the issue? Okay. FMX, if you're in the YouTube, man, go ahead and drop in and see if there's a box for me. Just want to verify. Hell no fam says there's no box. That would explain why nobody's jumping in. I'm sorry I called you guys all chicken, if that's the case. Oh, nope. Somebody's jumping in. There is a box. You guys are liars. Either that or you just don't have enough followers. Sorry about that. Red Shade, welcome to the show. Thanks for testing it out for me. And he's gone. All right. Well, there you have it. Won't let me in. Gen X, how many followers do you have, my guy? You have 410 followers. That's why you can't. You have to have 1,000. You have to have 1,000 followers. You have to be popular in order to get in here. You fell off the edge. It's unfortunate. Red Shade, if you have any arguments, feel free to hop back on in. Hell no fam says he's been to the top of the Eiffel Tower and has pictures of the flat horizon, flat everywhere you see, and we're seeing way too far. So what are you going to do? So Georgia Guidestone's a serious argument for flat Earth to you? Do you have any serious arguments for the globe? Earth to you? Do you have any serious arguments for the globe? We got 95 people in here, lots of keyboard warriors and keyboard warriors, and not one person is popular enough or has. I guess the Earth really is flat, guys. Everybody already knows. It's no longer a conspiracy if everybody already knows, right? Just kidding. It's actually not how it works. Conspiracy is actually just when people, uh, talk about committing a crime together. That's conspiracy. Gen X, you don't have enough followers for the 100th time. Kevin, yes, we are looking for some Globers. You got a genuine flat earther right here, ready to defend the model. This is the True Earth Debate. And so far, the globe has no representation. Zero. Very sad. Pilots say the Earth is a flat plane. Well, they have to fly it like it's a flat plane, right? Regardless of what they believe. So that is a check for flat Earth as well. All right. We shoot like it's flat. We fly like it's flat. We have technology as if it's flat. All right. What about the railgun, guys? That's over 100 miles. They're not calculating for curvature in those calculations. This is just rage bait, says the guy who has no argument. Move on to your next hobby. Yeah, you would like that, wouldn't you? This is for the other people. How is it a square box or a flat box? Who knows, dude? I didn't say it was a box. We're just living on the top of something. I think it's an inertial plane, a plane of inertia. What the heck was that? Other people wanting to host. Is that like other... How the heck does that work? How do I find you on YouTube? Simply go to Troubling Tribune. All right, there you go. Troubling Tribune on YouTube, Rockfin, Instagram, Telegram. Follow us on all of it. We do appreciate it. We also have an Etsy store. We do appreciate that as well. You can make a fashion statement while you are learning or repping the true Earth. What's a full quick explanation of your theory? I mean, we're definitely on an inertial plane. Well, obviously so, right? So you can pretty much follow Witsit to get a more comprehensive idea of what it is that we're living on. But if you look at the geometry of a magnet, you can see that there's an area, a plane, if you will, and we live on that plane, literally. So then we have a North Pole, and the South Pole would theoretically be underneath us. Explain sunset and dawn. They're optical effects. There you go. You can actually see in the sky where night turns into day, and at one point it'll be like right over top of you. And when you're over water, it becomes really exaggerated. And with this, you can easily prove that it's not any Earth curvature that's blocking the light, causing it to fade out. Right? It's just the light getting too far to see. It's the only way it can work. Don't know if the moon is flat. Probably a sphere. Who knows? It's probably a sphere, though. Looks like a sphere. Maybe it's a hologram. I'm just kidding around. I really don't know what the moon is. I don't know what the sun is. I don't know how high it is. I don't know how high the stars are exactly. They could be apparent things for all we know. How would you go about actually verifying the measurements of their distances in the globe Earth claim? Elmo believes that flat Earth is a psyop. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, because it's a psyop for people to not believe the government at all, because the government never lies and just wants what's best for us. All right, that makes a lot of sense. Did you just say the South Pole would be under us rather than around us? That I did. Technically, the actual South Pole would be underneath us directly, underneath the North Pole, right? If you put a little pole all the way through it, we would be living on the inertial plane with the pole going right through the middle of that. plane. However, you would also have, as you got to the edge, you would be able to pick up the southern pole magnetation. Not that it matters. Again, we're navigating based off of north, not the South Pole. So we have an alternate reality underneath us. Quite possibly, right? Why wouldn't we? Why couldn't we? You guys believe in infinite universes, and I can't believe in one other universe underneath this one. Come on, this is crazy. Hey, dude, super funny. Who built the U.S. interstate systems? Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? Uh, any Globers want to actually hop in the box, engage in the conversation? If not, I'll probably give you guys another, I don't know, 10 minutes. Oh, we got somebody in the box. Solar, welcome. That sounds like somebody who likes space.
What do you mean by
Solar,
true?
welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. What do you mean by true Earth?
Yeah, it's a true Earth debate. We're debating the position of the Earth, the shape of it, anything with that, if you will. So I believe that we're a flat Earth, stationary, not moving, with topography over top. I believe this is verified with electromagnetic propagation, light waves, radio waves, microwaves. It's also verified with sonar. We actually map out the oceans as if they're flat, and then we map out everything else off of sea level, which is also horizontal. And then we also have plane surveying. We have plane sailing, which all operate as if the Earth is flat. So yeah, that's my whole spiel. I'm assuming that you're from the globe Earth persuasion.
I'm sorry. Do you believe the Earth is flat or round?
Oh wow, yeah. I just said it was flat, and I gave you all my evidences for it.
I kind of caught that, but it wasn't clear. I just
Well, it wasn't clear.
well, if the Earth is flat, right? Why is the moon and the sun round?
Well, that's a great question, right? If my light bulbs in my ceiling are circular, why is my room a square? You see the fallacy
Well,
there?
why is peaks a circle and come in a square box?
Yeah, see, you understand then. That question that you just asked is nonsensical, right? How does the sun and moon being circles make us a circle?
You're right.
Thank you.
Okay, so how do we get, like, people say that flat earthers are plain up stupid, right? Like, you
I
got.
know, right?
So, how do someone who's not a flat earther that the Earth is flat?
I just went through the evidences, right? So I'll slow it down just a little bit to make it easy as heck, right? Let me ask you a question. If there was technology that worked depending on the Earth being flat, like we actually measured the Earth being flat and then used this technology as if the Earth were flat, would that be a positive piece of evidence towards the Earth being flat?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we use electromagnetic waves, line of sight. We use line of sight propagation, and we can shoot radar waves over 10,000 miles, which is way over the supposed horizon of the curvature of the Earth. We can shoot microwaves over 200 miles, again, way over the geometric horizon. We can shoot sonar supposedly 10,000 miles using something called a deep sound channel, right? So that again would indicate no curvature. So we have all these things that would demonstrably debunk curvature. And then rail guns is actually a piece of technology that we use. We basically shoot line of sight, right? We're not calculating for curvature for that 100 miles that we're shooting this rail gun. So with that being said, these are all positive evidences that the Earth is flat. what evidence would you have that the Earth would be a globe?
The only evidence I have is what I was taught inside school.
Gotcha. So would you say then that, at least from your perspective, you have more of a belief and less of a knowing?
Okay. Yeah. If the Earth is flat, can you get to the end of a rainbow?
What? A rainbow is an optical effect. I'd say probably not. I don't know. Maybe it depends. Depends on how big the rainbow is. You could make a rainbow and then you could probably get to the end of that, but right, a rainbow is something in the eye, so probably not.
Because I was told that the rainbow wraps around the Earth completely. So, but if the Earth was flat, then and it was like positioned on the Earth, then you should be able to get to the end of the rainbow.
It sounds really not that intelligent. Just gonna be honest with you, Solar. Feel like you're trolling.
All right, all right, all right. Do you have a degree?
That's a no. I don't.
No. Did you finish high school?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you take drugs?
Doesn't matter.
Have shrooms made you realize things you can't see without shrooms?
I don't advocate for illegal drug use. How would that have anything to do with the shape of the Earth?
Well, I'm just asking in terms of your intelligence, because how do I not know you're just a conspiracy theorist?
Do you know where the term conspiracy theorist comes from?
I know the letter C was made up.
What? Yeah, okay. So I'm starting to think that you're not not serious.
No. I'm being serious. No, I don't know where the term conspiracy comes from.
The CIA made it to discredit people questioning the government. Do you think there's never been conspiracies ever perpetrated by the government ever?
100%. What do you think about the aliens that crashed in Nevada the other day?
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, do we have any other others in here that would like to offer some arguments? That way we can stay on topic and try to keep things, above a certain level. So you don't have any refutation of any of the specific points that I made regarding the Earth?
Not really. I feel like there's two people with arguments, but nobody, like none of us regular people, have the funds or the accessibilities to like go out into space and check it out ourselves.
Well, that's kind of a cop out, right? Because I mean, I just gave
No,
clear
it's not a
evidences,
cop-out. No. You
right?
can't.
Nothing about what you mentioned, like funding. We
You're
don't have
not
the
you're
funding,
not
right? That doesn't have
hands-on
anything to
with this
do with.
technology. You're not hands-on with this technology, though.
What does that matter?
It
I have their
matters because
manuals.
you're. No, you don't. Come on.
Anybody can have their manuals. Go on Google, man. They're not private.
You're a liar. You don't have the manuals.
They're not private, bro.
Understood. I think you're coming up with things pretty quick to combat me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, well, I have that kind of effect on people. That discomfort that you're feeling is called cognitive dissonance, and it can be very challenging to deal with at times, but it's okay. Just know that if you can believe that it doesn't matter if the Earth is flat or round, because a lot of people ask me that. They're like, "What does it matter, man? My life would be the same either way." Then it should be pretty easy. It should be pretty easy to let go of the globe then.
Is there more land that we don't know about?
Probably, but I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that there is. I'm kind of biased. I'm like an explorer type, so I'd like to believe that there is more land, but I don't know.
Why don't you start migrating then?
I'm actually working on that. Right, got to gather funds, and then you got to change the world to lift the restrictions. You can't change the world, right? You can't change minds and hearts and change culture. Yeah, I know, right? That's silly.
Come on, man. You're taking big steps. You know what they're gonna tell you. You gotta start at home.
Oh my goodness! So here I am, right, at home with y'all. So, in any case, if you don't want to offer, do you have any other evidences that you'd like to offer, or We'll go ahead and move on.
They say before I move on, like our bodies are connected to the earth. And I saw somebody in the comments, and like basically your head represents the globe and your brain and all that stuff. Like it's all circular. So it just lets you know that the earth is circular.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I can't really refute that. I guess I'm going to go ahead and pack it up and delete my channel. That was excellent, Solar. Do you have any final words before I go ahead and boot you? No, he's out of here. Perfect. Awesome. Super funny. Yeah, obviously, I do not believe in that crap at all, right? That's just like that one guy that I had a year ago saying, can't you just tell that life is circular or spherical? No, I can't. That's ridiculous. How, even if all of life was spherical, how would then the Earth be a sphere, right? That's not a positive piece of evidence. Tribune, you need more research, bro. I'm so silly, right? What do I need to research more specifically? We got Pokemon Trio fam. Jesus, let's hope that this isn't a troll. This might be all we get, folks. I do apologize if that is the case. Oh, where'd they go? And they're gone. All right. I have very verifiable evidence that your flat earth is false. Just ask Sergio. I'm asking. Go ahead and present it. Save me from this ignorant flat earth belief. We've been at this now since 2014. Not publicly, right? But spiritually, mentally. And I just can't debunk this crazy crap. What are you going to do? To express better ideas. Like what? There's tons of avenues to research, man. Just point me in the direction. Here's another one for you. Stars debunk. Stars are always used as a positive evidence for the globe, right? It's like, we know that the Earth is a globe because of stars, man. Just look at them. Look at the way they spin. But in reality, we know from the stars that the Earth is indeed not moving through space around the sun. Because if it were, then we would have a completely different set of stars. Every single star in the equatorial should be different. Yeah, at least I believe so. I might have to double check that. At least most of them should be different. But we know from the Orion, we know from the Orion constellation, right, that we have that all year round. And that would debunk the idea that we're moving around the sun, right? The whole globular model there. Doom Astral 77, welcome to the show. What have you got for us?
How long have you been eating poop?
All right, and you're out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew it. You knew it, Doom Astral. You knew what you were doing. What the heck? A lot of people out here are hardcore self-projecting. It is an embarrassment. I agree. That was horrific. Is the globe not going to have any good representation tonight? Oh, paused horribly. Super funny. I was just paused on the funniest face. Someone's going to clip that. I just know it. All right. Why get so complex? Flat Earth is based on conspiracy theory that all simple evidence is a fake. That's not true, actually. I just proved to you that it wasn't by getting all complex with it. You guys are going to have to do better than this, right? Do you guys eat too much pizza? Is that a shot, my friend? Don't take kindly to that. That's informant. Thank you for sharing the live. Guys, go out and share the live with all your favorite globies. Guys, research Flat Earth on TT. There you go. Ghost, I seen it with my own 2 eyes throw a telescope. I don't see how that proves anything. I actually do believe in ghosts too, but I don't think that has anything to do with true Earth debate, right? That's going to be the true fate debate that we have on Wednesday nights. You guys are definitely going to want to join that if you're a Christian. If you're a Buddhist, if you're a Hindu, if you're one of the mainstream religions, then jump on in. We definitely want to have the conversation. Defend your dogma as it will. Of course, you believe in ghosts and other nonsense. Silly conspiracy theorists, right? Can literally not shake me, right? I know what I've seen. Globe Earth people never research. It is unfortunate. Elon Musk's rocket cannot even get out. That's funny. Because it's a debate, right? The true Earth debate, regardless of what I believe or what you believe, there is a true Earth, right? There is a true cosmology, whether we know it or not. So that's what we're here to learn, the true Earth debate. Welcome, guys. We're 45 minutes in, and the Globe Earth has had zero competent representation. Undefeated 100%. Absolutely. You know, Caleb did warn me that this would happen. He said that one day none of the Globers will want to come in on your show because you'll get too competent and too articulate. And they won't be able to defend their nonsense. And so they'll find it easier to just sit on the back burner and let you ramble on, educating the masses. Flat earth evangelism, if you will. But you must stop me, right? You have a duty, an obligation, especially if you believe that you are right and that you have the moral high ground. Then you should come in and educate my audience on why my arguments are incorrect and why I am an ignoramus. Host is a comedian. I wish. I wish I could get paid like a comedian. A good one. Not the weekend nightclub ones. Cancer went from 0.5 to 50% in men. I don't know about that. I have to check that. That'd be crazy though if it did. You never tried an experiment for yourself. That's debunked. Go on my page. I've literally made things disappear from the bottom up using my perfectly level countertop. Right? So, by the way, for the person who asked how sunsets work, right? How can things disappear bottom up is the same question as sunsets, right? It's the same question. So, how does that work? It's just your field of view and angular resolution, right? The cup actually I had this Burger King cup. Long story short, has a red line on the bottom of it, and when you slide the cup back, the line merges down into the horizon of my flat countertop, right? Surely you're not going to invoke a radius for my countertop, right? That'd be ridiculous. If the world is flat, why does it get hotter as you get closer to the equator? Oh, wow. It's because that's where the sun is more locally, too. It's easy, right? The sun has a location, a GP, if you will, a general, they call it global position. I'll call it ground position. It's the point where you would draw a 90-degree angle up directly to the sun, right? So the sun is mostly over the equator, right? It going between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of whatever the heck the other one was. GPS, ground positioning system. Next, right? You triangle your position. There you go. Why does pressure decrease with altitude? You won't answer. Nice ploy. Savage, hop in the box and ask me that with words, not text, and we'll see if I answer that, right? Just keep smashing the likes, folks. Keep sharing it out. I see that there's 9 shares and 84 people watching. I want to see 84 shares, right? Somebody is going to want to hop in on this. You're all lost. Hold on. Let's see this one. Let's see this guy. You're all lost. Let me tell you something you see all the time. This is from Ghost. Let's see the follow-up. Ghost, you didn't follow up. What the heck are you talking about? Rated M says the Gleason's map, right? That is a pretty accurate depiction. lurking and scared to jump in. Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's okay. If you guys stop jumping in, then we'll shift platforms, right? And we'll figure it out. We will evolve. So all the more reason to stick with us on the YouTube and the Rockfin and the Instagram. That's why we built up those other platforms. This is the dumbest response I've ever heard. I don't even know what you're referring to, and I don't care. All right, so we are at 10:49. Right, I'm going to give you guys till 11 o'clock. We'll see if we can get somebody else to jump in who wants to have the conversation. Somebody who's actually serious, though, right? I don't want anybody trolling. If you're a flatty and you just want to come in and pretend to be a glober because you think it helps with the show, it actually doesn't, right? We need people who are genuine. Otherwise, the conversations just seem super fake, right? Like, I don't even know if that last guy, that first guest that we had, was even real, right? I just can't determine it. Is your mom proud of you? My mom used to work at NASA, Dorian, and yes, she is. It's hilarious that people still believe in the Earth is flat. That's super funny. What's even funnier is that people believe in a globe Earth without any good evidence, right? Or even the ability to articulate any of these arguments. All right, folks, over on the YouTube, Rockfin, during this, go ahead and let me know if you'd be interested in doing just like an open panel since we're not getting too much globies in here. If you want to have the conversation, we can go ahead and switch up the style to an open panel over there. You can't answer my question. You haven't hopped in the box. Can you? Let me see if you even can. Savage, what have you got? 600. No, you can't. All right, I'll answer it. Why do you have pressure decreasing as you go up, right? That's because there is a downward vector, right? That's measurable. Can you verify that the downward vector actually is a radial force that we should assume pulls to a center of mass of a presupposed spherical Earth? Without begging the question, please, right? Like, and none of that false equivalency stuff, like, oh, the stars are spherical, the moon is spherical. Appreciate the gifts, by the way. You guys are awesome. Earth is flat, no debate because no proof of spherical Earth. That's right. Rick Tang is right on the money. There's no evidence of the globe whatsoever. What will convince you that the Earth is a globe? Only Waz Paso. Let's see if you have enough. 42. You don't. You don't have anywhere near enough people to hop in, man. It's unfortunate. What would convince me that the Earth is a globe? How about observable, verifiable measurements of the Earth's sphericity? We can start there. And then if you want to prove the motion of the Earth, we can start with measurements of the motion, right? Not inferred, of course, due to the sky moving, right? Like we can just say all day, oh, the sky is moving, therefore we know that we're moving. No, that's not good enough, right? How do you know that you're actually moving and it's not just the sky moving? Could go either way. Idiot in the armchair never saw the horizon. Big shocker. Spider hooch. It's so funny. So you don't actually have an argument either. MrTribune, welcome. The chat is doing its thing, right? But we're not really getting anybody who wants to jump on in. Let's see here. I just got another. Let's see here. MrTribune, you just shared the live with me. So you're funny. You have nothing. I've already been up here for an hour now. You know, just dunking all over the globe. So nobody wants to come in and even attempt to refute any of the points that I've made at all, right? Not even a little bit. Let's see here. What else we got? Why do shadows not go in a round circle on a sundial? That's funny too. Because the shadow, it's a pointed shadow. I'll just go ahead and answer that one for you. It's a pointed thing that creates a pointed shadow. So why would it be a circular shadow? That's dumb. Oh, you're talking about why it goes around, right? That's because the sun goes around. So there you go. Miguel, if you wanted to hear this from the beginning, then you're going to have to go over to YouTube and Rockfin. We filmed the whole thing, record the whole thing. You can drop it down and show some love. Folks over on the YouTube and Rockfin, be sure to grab those memberships while you can. We're going to be doing some member-only streams here pretty soon, including debate after shows, Ask Me Anythings with MrTribune, and more. Should be pretty awesome. Don't rub me there. Do you have an actual argument? Or are you just going to ad hom? How much? 7 followers? Spoof account. New spoof account. I'm calling it now. Show a working flat earth model. What do you got behind me right here? How do you know that that doesn't work? You can't debunk that. I could play the same game that Globers play, right? You have no evidence of the globe. Nothing scientific. Nothing exclusive, right? There's a lot of bots level-minded. It's pretty sad. That's why we got to keep sharing that show out. That way we can get the real Globers in here. Sorry if I sound like I have a little bit of a slur. I bit my tongue earlier, and it's been awful. Been quite a challenge. All right, I'm going to have to just invite some people. Let's see here. Who in the heck is going to want to come in? Archangel Crusader, who the heck? Me, Bray. I don't know who you are. Crick, I don't know who you are. Let's just see. Let's just invite some people. Maybe somebody will jump in. Only Juan El Paso, stop the nonsense. I know, right? There's only one way to stop me. It's to debunk me. Send me packing. Nope. Looks like it's not gonna happen. Looks like it's not gonna happen. What are you gonna do? Is there another flat earth debate going on right now that I could go crash? The Glovers are petrified tonight. It is. It's so sad. It's not satire, actually, Matthew Rutledge. It's 100% serious. That's why I offer serious evidences towards the flat earth, like electromagnetic wave propagation. And I wait for a serious refutation and not a ad hoc explanation for the phenomena, right? Let's get some exclusive evidence of the globe. What's something that only works on the globe, right? It can't work any other way. We can't beg the question. We can't presuppose it. We can't fib this in any way, right? It's just demonstrable. What's going on the 25th, Crick? Why are they hiding until the 25th? Electromagnetic wave propagation. Go on. So in the Army manuals, they literally admit that they shoot these waves a line of sight thousands of miles, right? You can't shoot something a line of sight thousands of miles on a globe, right? Because the ground literally curves away. So it doesn't work. I have been on several planes. User 430564998697. Big words to make him sound like he's smart. I apologize if it's intimidating for you. I use radar all the time. Let's see it. And you can only paint about 120 miles. Savage, that's because your radar is weak. It's that simple. There are stronger radars that go way farther. By the way, the fact that your radar goes 120 miles, that goes way past the geometric horizon as well. I've heard the radar argument before, the radar horizon argument. Why is the radar horizon so much different than the actual horizon? It's because it has nothing to do with some geometric presupposed sphere edge. It's just attenuation. It spreads, gets absorbed, can't go as far. But then you get stronger signals, things of higher frequency, and they go further. $120-mile Earth would curve at least 6,666 feet. That's super funny. I could just say, yes, that's right, not even check it. So I think I don't recommend flat earthers. You do get caught in that sometimes, where you just take an argument just because it comes from some source that you think is refutable, right? You do have to back check stuff. All right, we got Liberal AV. Welcome to the show. Just in time. I was about to go ahead and do an open panel. What is up, my friend?
Yeah, so do you think that the Earth is actually round?
Define round. Like round as in like a circle or like a spherical?
Like a sphere, because I find that to be very problematic.
Yeah, I don't think the Earth is a sphere, actually.
Oh, well, it's actually flat.
Right.
Oh, so you think it's flat too?
Oh, welcome to the club. You're in good
nice.
company.
Hey, well, there you go. Because again, I don't get how people are brainwashed by the Matrix and actually think it's round. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Well, what they do is they take the way that we see, and then they apply that to the ground that we're standing on. Zach, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, little mama.
Wow, what the heck?
Yeah, are you
What the
assuming
heck?
his gender? Excuse
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, you shouldn't do that, man.
Well, my B. I thought we were thinking in old times. You still think the Earth is flat?
No, Zach, quit being problematic, please.
My bad.
So, Zach, do you have an argument?
Right. Well, I've always seen these live, and I've never thought I could. I'm not a smart guy. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm a stand-up
Obviously.
comedian. I'm pretty dumb. But you seem pretty dumb, too, and I think I could.
Excuse me? You need to show some respect to the host. Excuse me?
He's fine. Let's get to it, man. They'll keep us all night.
Why, when did, so I'm brainwashed, right? That's why I think it's round.
You are.
Well, did you spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, multiple years of your life going to these government-funded indoctrination camps, right, that were literally designed after prison systems to create factory workers?
Right.
Admittedly.
So you came up with the theory that the Earth is flat?
No, I didn't come up with it.
So someone fucking told you.
No,
Yeah, but-
Zach.
And how much
Zach,
time
why are
did you
wait,
spend
wait,
listening
Zach,
to it?
Zach,
Did you spend
Zach,
8 hours listening to videos about how the Earth is
Zach,
flat?
why are you raising your voice? You need to calm down.
To
and quit
speak
mansplaining.
over you, because I don't know
Zach.
why you're still in here saying dumb shit.
Zach, quick screaming.
Yeah, try to.
Kick that guy so we can
Zach-
debate.
Zach, you gotta try not to curse from YouTube, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach, you need to
You gotta keep it friendly. But in any case, yeah, just to keep it really short and simple, right? Without all the ad
Right,
homs,
sorry.
without all like the ad homs and like the BS, right? So we can admit that the beliefs that we have, some can be tested, some can't, right? So it's
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I choose to believe in the flat Earth cosmology for a couple reasons. For one, I'm not sure how long you've been in the live, but there is electromagnetic wave propagation over a flat Earth, as admitted in several different Army documents, admitted by NASA as well. And
Wait. Well,
Zach,
because let
do
me
not
clarify
cut off the
there, because
host.
I'm not sure
Zach,
electromagnetic.
Zach, do not cut off the host. He was telling some really good information.
Can you kick
Stop.
this guy? Who the
Zach,
fuck is this
stop.
RV
No,
living
Zach,
motherfucker?
Stop talking over the host. You're being very problematic.
Liberal
Stop.
AV. I just want to clarify what the fuck electromagnetification
Excuse me,
meant.
Zach.
So you
quit
know
being
light?
problematic.
Excuse me.
Zach,
liberal.
Zach, stop cussing. Liberal, thanks for modding, man. I do appreciate it. Keep it simple. Electromagnetic wave propagation. That is light waves. That is radio waves. That is microwaves, right? All of this stuff gets shot to its target as if it's line of sight over a flat Earth plane. No movement, no rotation, no curvature, just line of sight. And we do this for thousands of miles, up to 10,000 miles. If the Earth, that's over half of the Earth, right? If the Earth were a ball, that would mean that I could get the signal over the most amount of curvature possible. The most amount of curvature possible, right,
Well,
would be
wouldn't
over
that just be 'cause of,
halfway
like,
the Earth.
gravity
Excuse
and
me,
the
Zach. Quit
ozone?
talking over the host. Zach, stop.
I'm fucking responding. Who is this guy? Can I not respond? I thought he was done there, Liberal.
I was almost
I'm
done.
so sorry.
I was almost done.
He was almost done, but he wasn't done.
It's-
He
Zach.
wasn't quite done. He had a hiccup.
I'll give you the hand wave. That way, Liberal knows to let you go. How about that? All right, Liberal guard dog. You
Liberal,
can ease
I
up just a
only
bit.
start speaking once I'm supposed to speak. You know, I don't want to upset you.
No, you're fine.
You know, the definition of liberal is accepting others' opinions.
Yeah, but they have to.
That's
not
the
bigoted
definition of
ones.
the word liberal.
But they have to be
Not
heard, though,
bigoted
right?
ones.
That's the definition of the word liberal.
No, but Zach, we don't accept bigoted ones. And I'm pretty sure you voted for Donald Trump.
So you think the
Aw,
earth
man.
being round is
I'm not getting
bigoted?
into the political.
Who does that offend? Wait, who does that offend? Who is like, oh my god, if the world was round, I couldn't live here?
Zach, stop being problematic and just talk to the host, please.
What is bigoted about the earth being round?
All right, listen. I'm making a specific argument, right? I want to.
That's a grown man that has the power to vote that just said it's bigoted to say
Excuse
the
me.
earth is
Excuse
round.
me. Wait. Did you just assume
You're
my gender?
excused. You're excused.
Oh my
Zach,
goodness.
Yes, I just assumed your gender. I don't know why you like to make that joke.
Excuse
It's
me.
not some sort of cancel culture. Nobody cares.
Excuse me. My pronouns are they, them. So you need to stop.
Oh, okay. Well then, okay, they.
This is getting
Okay, so-
interesting
Well, then
pretty
what
quick.
is your opinion?
So you're transphobic. Okay.
That's a debate for another
you're
time.
genuinely right. If you want to they them, I'm fully about that.
Excuse me.
Culture District, welcome to the show. Thanks
If
for
you
coming
want
on.
me
Hey, what's
to
going on,
use
fella?
your pronouns, now that you've let me know, I will use them.
Zach, quit your mansplaining. You're showing your privilege right now.
I'm trying to agree with you.
Whatever.
You guys are killing me. Listen, I really want to get back to the argument.
So
with all
they
due respect,
think it's bigoted for the Earth to be round.
my audience isn't even saying that. Listen,
Do you think the Earth needs to be flat?
my goodness. So you guys don't want to have the real conversation,
Is that
right? We
what
just
it
want
is
to talk about
now?
other
You're
shit.
liberal, right? Why are you fat shaming the Earth? Why can't? The
No,
Earth
you're not
be a
talking to
little
liberal right now. You're
circular?
talking to
Yeah,
me.
I'm talking to liberal AV.
Yeah, no, but
I'm
this is
not
my
fat-
show.
Excuse me, I'm not fat shaming the Earth. The Earth is flat, and you need to quit spreading matrix propaganda.
Why is it bigoted
Wait,
to say it's round?
wait. Why do you think that the Earth is round? Is because NASA told you? You know that
Why
they're
is that
part of the
bigoted?
elite. You know they're a part of the 1%.
And who
one
told
of
you the Earth was flat? Are they part of the elite?
Wait.
Why'd you believe
You want to
that?
know who told us? You want to know who told us the Earth was round? A whole bunch of straight white men. A whole bunch of straight white
Yeah, that's
men.
what makes up NASA, you dumb.
Yeah, exactly. So why should we trust a whole bunch of straight white men? It's disgusting.
All right.
Right. So why do you trust the people that told you that? What is happening?
No offense, liberal. I want to have the conversation though. You guys are taking it into a whole nother debate that is just ridiculous, right? So
I couldn't. That was very good, though. I was very entertained.
it was entertaining for the time being, but I want to respect the time of my audience and
Yeah,
you know,
no,
my-
you're right.
in
100%.
particular-
You're live.
in particular, there's a lot of people who've been watching me that have been watching lives all day long. So I want to make sure that we keep this thing moving. But I do want to welcome
Yeah.
Culture
And I
District to
totally
the
respect
show,
Conspiracy theories. I'm just not a
Appreciate it.
flat Earth believer personally.
and that's fine.
So
we
let's
can,
go on with the live.
we can definitely have that conversation. But before we move on, Culture District, welcome to the show. What did you have for us today?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick statement from my research and what I've been finding. And a lot of people are always asking, what's the big deal? Or even if it is flat or if it is round, what's the big deal? And the biggest deal is that if the Earth is flat, we're able to give free energy to everyone. And for all the problems that they say we have, in certain areas that would be no longer, because just like Wi-Fi, electricity can be transmitted through the air, you know what I'm saying, under a flat earth system and modulation. And I believe Nikola Tesla was working on something like that. So that's where I discovered that information. So that's all I wanted to say. One of the biggest issues, or why it's such a debate, is because we could really change the world.
Yeah, it's like the flat Earth debate leads right into the ether debate, which leads right into free energy. So, but we'll get there in time. Well said, Culture. Zach, since you're the opposition in the panel for now, which is awesome. I'm glad that you're here because we've had a struggle tonight getting people who can articulate points.
I'll try to stay as long as I can.
Yeah, sure. We don't have super long lives anyway, so I'm only going for another 50 minutes or so
cool.
total. But in any case, to long story short, electromagnetic wave propagation is one of the probably the best evidences that the Earth is indeed flat, because obviously you can't see through obstruction, right? Like if I put my hand here, you can't see through it, right? That's electromagnetic waves. Light waves are electromagnetic, right? It's part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So using this logic, right, if the Earth is a sphere with a set radius, then we know that the horizon supposedly, as it's been told, we know the Earth is a ball because we see boats disappearing from the bottom up, right, over the horizon. That means that the horizon is a sphere edge that things can disappear behind, right? It means it's a set location. Well, what we find when we shoot electromagnetic waves, and we do this not just with radar waves and with microwaves, but with mirror flashes, and mirror flashes are very precise. They require a direct line of sight. If you're off to the side a little bit, you actually can't see the mirror. So there cannot be any obstruction of observers when it comes to mirror flashing, and we have those over 20 miles. Which there should be several, I believe it's like 80 feet of curvature, so I have to go and get the exact math for it. But in any case, there's no way that you're going to be able to see a 6-foot mirror through, an 80-foot hump of water or land, depending on where you're at. And we use mirror flashes in the military for, again, I think the maximum that they do it is like 100 miles. I have to go back and check the exact number. But so these are, so we have several things that line up, right? We have radar waves, microwaves, light waves, and then we also have sonar, right? So sonar is another kind of way that we go through the water, and when we're actually mapping out the ocean floors, we assume horizontal. We do not assume any curvature with that whatsoever. All the things with curvature are stuff that is implied due to things like the sky dropping and whatnot. So with that being said, that's why I believe the Earth is flat. That's why a big reason why a lot of people in our community believe like they do. It's verifiable. It's demonstrable. Anybody can get a radar. Anybody can get, a radio,
Right.
ham radio. You can test things like that. You can get stronger radio. You can send the signal farther. And you can get a camera, P900. You can see way too far. You can put an infrared lens on that, cut through the refraction, and it'll actually let you see even farther. Right? So refraction is apparently the reason why we see farther than we should, but infrared cuts through refraction. So why are we seeing further with infrared if it's cutting through the refraction, the thing that lets us see further? Doesn't make any sense. Zach,
Okay, so I have a couple questions about that. First, you said we see the ships descend, bottom to top over the shoreline because of the edge is circular.
No, that's what the assumption is.
Slowly...
So that was what the assumption was. So the assumption,
okay,
yeah, they said the claim from the globe Earth is that boats disappear over the horizon, which is the leading edge of a sphere.
Do that.
No, so they disappear bottom up, correct? They don't always do that though, which is really funny. They actually sometimes just disappear into the distance. I live in Florida, so I see boats all the time. Most of the time,
mirage. When you see the boat above the water, like a sun mirage.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, that's the same sort of situation where you're seeing, No,
so here's the thing. What we see consistently, Zach, is that the boats, they actually disappear into the horizon. Most of the time, they don't even disappear bottom up. It's just we think that because we can make out the sails and the top of the boat easier because it's contrasting with the sky. However, what we do
Well, what if
see,
the boat was lime green? Wouldn't it also contract with the sky? Wouldn't you see the boat? Why are you saying
well,
that the sail
where
contracts with the sky?
so the sky's blue. It's a much lighter blue than the dark blue of the
Yeah,
ocean
what if the sail
or the
was
water.
blue?
Well, what if? What observation do you have of this, right? So again, the
You
claim
said just
is,
now that
hold on, Zach. The
the
claim
sail does
is,
not.
let's
Okay,
go back to basics, right? The claim is that
but the
boats
boat
always
does.
disappear bottom up because of the curvature of the Earth.
It's not the
However,
claim. We've all seen it happen. There's 114 people
but
in
you
this
don't know
lab
how
that have
you
watched a
don't,
boat sail away.
Zach. With all due respect, you don't know how far that boat is when you're saying that it's disappearing over the horizon. And what we can do is
No,
we
you're
can
right.
bring the whole boat back into view, right, after it's disappeared over the quote horizon. Now, what you guys will do is you'll beg the question. You'll say, well, it hasn't gone over the horizon yet. It just disappeared out of your line of sight. The horizon is different from how far you can see. So now we're admitting the difference between the actual horizon and the apparent horizon, which you would have to agree with. The thing is that the boats are disappearing at different
I'd
distances.
agree by the naked eye, you can't tell how far the boat is, but I'm sure military can tell how far the nearest boat is.
So here's the problem, right? Boats are supposed to start disappearing after just 3 miles, right? That's with a 6-foot observer if you're on the ground, right? So after just 3 miles, you're supposed to see the boat start to disappear bottom up. But we're able to zoom in on boats that are like 10, 20 miles out, which is way farther than the geometric horizon is. The reason why this is supposedly the case is because refraction magically bends this light back up into view to present it as if the Earth were flat to the observer. Now, you understand how ridiculous this sounds, right? Why wouldn't we just believe that the Earth is flat?
Right. I've never heard that the curve is just 3 miles out. That seems pretty wild to me. I've drove 3 miles in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, our whole entire Earth is only 25,000 miles in circumference. We live on a tiny, that whole phrase, it's a small world. Well, we can actually measure geometrically, right? This is just geometry. The rate of curvature that's supposed to be observed is 1.22 times the observer's height in feet. In square feet. So we have a set amount of what the horizon's supposed to be. And what we see is that the horizon is not that.
I was Googling it. You cannot see the curvature of the Earth for 1,640 miles.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Above. That's Google.
Yeah, that's just false, though.
Why?
So go to Walter Bislin Earth Curvature Calculator. This is a curvature calculator that the Globers.
Google.com, Wikipedia.com, Stock Exchange, Omni Calculator, Outpost Magazine, National Institutes, DavidSmack.com, Quora.com, Medium.com. It brought up about 14 million results in 0.66 seconds that say it's 1,640 and not 3.
1,640.
As a member of the media.
That's what I'm looking at. A curvature of 1.0 appears as a circle of an angular radius of 57.3, corresponding to an altitude of approximately 2640 kilometers, in parentheses.
Oh, no, you're talking about how high you need to be.
Miles.
Oh, are you talking about how high you need to be up to see the curvature of the Earth? When you mention altitude?
That's what he's talking.
Hopefully.
No, so we're talking about when you're on the ground. No, we're talking about when you're on the ground, how far away from the ground, from an observer on the ground, right, will the Earth start to bend away from the observer, right? And it's 3 miles. So the way that you would check this is just in that same calculator, right? Go on the Omni calculator, right? If you want, just put in an observer height of 6 feet, and then look at the distance of the horizon. It'll literally tell you the horizon distance.
Observer height of 6 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. That didn't bring anything up on Google. I don't think that was the right thing to type on.
No, I'm in the calculator, bro.
Come on. I'm believing you now. The what calculator?
In the actual Earth calculator, the Earth curvature calculator.
Earth? Okay. So you can see 3 miles.
We can see way more than that. We're supposed to only be able to see
How
3
far can I
miles in a circle.
see?
Yeah, we've seen.
I'm gonna Google that now.
Yes, record that we can verify.
How far can I see?
So as far as like the most hardcore verifiable measurements, we have I believe 40 miles over water that we can see. There are other observations that we use with infrared that we believe are hundreds of miles. We do have Mount Canigou that we do. Actually, Mount Canigou is a better one. That's 140 something miles over water. We're able to see the mountains because the sun is setting behind them. So that just demonstrably destroys the Earth curvature claim.
I'm so sorry I have to go. Somebody just pulled up to my apartment. I had a lot of fun with the other guy that was on the live. I thought you were really going to passionately convince me that the Earth was flat.
I mean, if you look into what we just talked about, that should be the end of it.
No, that was cool. I like the stuff about microwaves.
I mean, radar waves or radio waves over 10,000 miles is a really good one as well. That's half the Earth. Anyway, curvature. Culture. Myself, flat earther. So I just thought it was something to do with curvature. But appreciate you joining me. What did you think about that last conversation?
The guy was interesting. I like a good debate, but he seemed to not understand fully. So you walked him through very well. I think you did a great job moderating to get him, get those points across. But I'm fully on your side, so I'm not good for a debate here.
Right, I hear you there.
But definitely I'm all in. And the one thing that I really experiment, it's the best way. Being on the coast and actually grabbing the binoculars to see how far you can see once your eyesight is gone, and then if you do have the ability to get a high powered camera or a telescope to see farther than that, just that alone will lead you on the right path. That was my experience. That's where I was like, you know what, let me look more into this. And then
absolutely
with religious based faiths and things like that, you can also find a lot of evidence in their religious books and things like that are referenced. So yeah, I'm all in.
In 1 second, just checking the chat over here for the YouTube. MrTribune told me to check it a while ago, I believe, and I've just kind of been caught in the conversation, so I do appreciate everybody. If there's any Globers that want to hop on in, then definitely do so. And folks, over on the YouTube, make sure you have your gift notifications or your ability to accept gifts turned on. We got people gifting them out. Let's do a huge shout out to Justin Johnson. Thank you for gifting those out. Spreading the truth. We appreciate it. And we do got some Globers back in here. Give me 1 second to pull you back up. Wait, where are we at? Boom. There we go. All right. Well, let's let him in. We got Baron. Nice. Baron, what is up?
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Trying to have a nice true Earth debate. Looking for some Globers who can actually articulate points instead of just, do the usual riffraff thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. So where are you guys at these days? What have you guys learned? Anything new, or is it the same old stuff?
I mean, most of it's the same old, admittedly, but now we've just had sonar introduced into the mix as well. We just learned about the deep sound channel, the begging the question presupposition that there is a channel under the ocean that the sound is bouncing back and forth between to be able to go upwards of 10,000 miles around the Earth. That's like half the Earth, just about, that it's going around.
And where is this information coming from?
So this is just mainstream. You can just Google the Deep Sound Channel, and it'll get a bunch of sources on it.
So scientists and stuff?
Yep, it's official.
Good, good. Sounds like good guys doing good work.
You could say that, but
Are you
to
guys?
me, it sounds like they're begging the question to explain away a phenomena. We're having sound that traveled literally halfway around the world. That's what like led them to the quote discovery of the deep sound channel.
No, so they're trying to
Um,
make sense of the phenomenon. Cool. Sounds like
yeah,
pretty interesting work.
yeah, I think that it's just a loud sound, right? And if there's not, if the horizon's not actually curving away, right, on a presupposed sphere, then there's no reason why we shouldn't expect to hear a loud sound, on the other side.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm not qualified to talk about it.
Fair.
What we'll talk about is just measurements that we take regarding the Earth's shape. And at the very least, if you're disputing the measurements that I or any other surveyor has taken, at the very minimum, you're required to at least take those measurements yourself to have something to dispute them with. So what sort of measurements do you have regarding the shape of the Earth?
I got a good one for you.
Okay. And they're yours. They're your measurements, right?
These are from the transatlantic cable system that travels from North America to Europe that lays underneath the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and do your research, or you do a little YouTube watching of the guys who, give you the insight about these cables, laying these cables, the measurements taken using the curvature was not needed. So you would think if you have cables that are 14 to 12,000 kilometers long, you would have to know some pretty good measurements about the curvature if you're going from North America to Europe. And there was none needed. And these cables are still laid and they're still working, no issues.
Right. I mean, it is a cable we're talking about, right?
Yes, if you will look into the research of what these cables are, they're not little tiny cords,
I understand that, but does the cable bend?
Oh, wow. There'd be a difference, Baron. Obviously, when we're talking about distances over the ocean, that there would be a difference of, I believe, miles, right? It's miles of curvature that we'd be dealing with over the ocean versus the flat plane. So how are we getting the accurate measurement for the cable if we're not calculating for the curvature of the Earth?
What are you using to get your measurement for curvature? What's your recipe? Walk me through it.
Okay, so before we move on to the measurements of curvature, because I see you're trying to pigeonhole the conversation to something very specific.
What was the question?
You guys are talking about a rate of curvature.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you? Where do you start? What are you using to measure this rate of curvature?
So here you go. So when NASA, this is where most of our scientific education comes from.
NASA has nothing to do with these measurements that surveyors take. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, if you can contact a surveyor, they'll also give you the same information.
I am a
When you're
surveyor.
surveying, okay, so you can do this
Yeah, I
experiment.
don't understand why you're shifting the burden to us.
Yeah. So you can you have the equipment, right? You have lasers.
I do. No,
You have
I don't
monitors.
use lasers. I don't use lasers. Lasers are useless in this discussion.
So what do you use?
I use either a total station, a theodolite, or an auto level.
Okay. So what's the largest area you've surveyed?
About up to 40 miles.
40 miles. And when you surveyed this area,
Yes.
did you calculate the curvature? Was there an issue with you surveying due to the curvature? Did your math change, and did you add any?
The obviously down, right? The direction of down is going to change depending on the position where you're at. It's not, linear, and obviously gravity plays a huge role in this too.
What part of gravity plays a role on the curvature that's consistent?
Because you're trying to determine a plumb line so you can get perpendicular to a horizontal.
So if you're laying a line.
So if you assume the plumb bobs aren't parallel.
Suspending these, is this a suspended thing? Is this underground?
No, it hangs from a tribe rack on the head of a set of legs.
Okay, so what was the curvature measurement that you got with your 40-mile radius or 40-mile
67
survey?
hundredths of a foot.
Say it again.
67 hundredths of a foot.
67 hundredths
Of a
of a foot. So you're telling me it's less than an inch?
67 hundredths of a foot is not less than an inch. That's 8 inches.
I'm asking the curvature.
Yeah, 67 hundredths of a foot.
You're saying there was 8 inches of curvature on a 40-mile radius or 40-mile measurement?
Per mile from the horizontal tangent down to the surface of the distance from the tangent to the surface of the earth will have a departure from the horizontal in 1 mile of 67 hundredths of a foot. That's why we have to use a correction if we want to level something. Otherwise, you'd be in a floodplain. It won't work if you don't correct it. It's just how it is. There's nothing around you. There's really nothing. Okay. Take a level, take a 4-foot level. Just imagine the center of your eyes has a line going across it horizontally. Okay, just imagine that for a second. And you're standing 4 foot off the ground. From that tangent, from that horizontal tangent to the center of your eyeballs is 4 feet. And you look 1 mile out at a wall. And you can radio me on the radio with your phone or whatever, and you can tell me to put a point on the wall, and I mark a point on the wall. Should that point, if both those points 1 mile apart are level with one another on the level surface of the earth, how high should you tell me to mark on the wall?
No, we're not gonna do that.
How high? Is it 4 feet or is it not 4 feet? Remember, the overall
we're looking
is flat, right? So both points are level with one another, a mile apart. Will I mark up 4 feet on the wall or not? And the answer is
Dude,
no.
if I'm looking,
at
Baron,
the point of
just
the, go ahead.
hold on just a second. Just to be brutally honest, in way less than a mile, like down the street, I can see the roof of a house at my chest level.
Okay.
Right. So
What's your point?
how is this like,
Because
how
I'm
do you
showing-
verify
I'm
the
showing-
height where you were supposed to mark it?
Because you can actually measure this yourself. You can either buy a differential level or auto level off eBay for right around $200. You can get a set of legs for probably $80 off Amazon. You can go out and you can do this yourself and come back and go, Baron, I did it, and guess what? You were wrong. In that 1 mile on that wall, 4 feet off the ground. So if you take a level 4 feet off the ground and extend it 1 mile out to a wall, and you can mark 4 feet between those 2 points with intervisibility of being 100% as well. So you have to have reversibility in your line of sight. But that's easy to walk through because all you do now is measure 4 feet up from that point on the ground to the center of your target, right? What's in your optic, carry it out 1 mile to the wall, measure 4 feet up, mark a spot. If you hit that spot, the earth is flat. But if you have a departure from that horizontal between 2 level points on a level surface, what's that telling you? It's telling you there's some other geometric shape happening. Now, granted there's going to be a bunch of hand waving here, and I get that. But there's 2 other experiments that you got to get around. One's the zenith angle, plumb lines, and the other is taking a simple horizontal distance. Flat, level, 1 mile. Make a point A, make a point B, 5,200.
That's been done.
I know it's been done. Survey.
This. You said you measured 40 miles, right? So that would mean
I've surveyed.
You surveyed 40 miles. Yeah. 1 point to another point. So you're saying to me that the curvature of that 40-mile situation, 8 inches per mile, that will bring it to about 26 feet, if I'm doing the math right.
What do you mean? You're talking like a straight, simple distance? We got to reduce that slope distance to a horizontal distance. So that's the first thing you got to do. So these lines, so this is all you got to do, right? All right, so go on there, take coordinate A, okay? Look at the latitude and longitude, okay? Go to point B. Look at the latitude and longitude.
So we're
Record
thinking
both.
he didn't see a 260-foot drop off? That's pretty crazy.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm saying I surveyed 40 miles. I didn't do a line of sight for 40 miles and then measure the drop down. What do you?
Quite different.
Yeah, absolutely different. So I think we need to get real with these measurements here. Okay, I think there's a huge gap in maybe communication. I think that maybe the jargon and terminology that I use from this field into TikTok land here, I think there's a breakdown, and that's my fault because I'm also used to dealing with people who are in the trades, right? Who understand the language, right? So you're talking about setting up and measuring, first of all, every distance that you're going to measure in the field's a slope distance, okay? Those slope distances have to be reduced to a horizontal distance, okay?
Can you explain, just for the people, also obviously myself as well, but what exactly do you mean by reduce it to a horizontal distance?
Okay, so you're going to have to use trigonometry because it's a horizontal curve that you're dealing with. So you have to reduce, you have to get the chord length. So what's the simple distance between A and B? That's what you're trying to find out. Now, that simple distance is under your feet, okay? So it's real, you can't tunnel through the earth to get there, right? And that's, I think, the confusion with the 8 inches times mile squared when it comes to flat earth. Flat earth thinks, oh man, I see too far, right? And it's just, look, anybody that's gonna tell me I shouldn't be able to see something, wow. I mean, obviously you see it. So that's the first point, right? And then you got to start dealing with, well, what are the rates here that we're talking about? What sort of mathematical formula are we talking about here? And it's a much different formula. It's not this, well, there's an arc length in relationship to a chord length, I think is first of all. And so the slope distance would be the arc length. What do you think is longer? Is the arc length longer or the chord length longer? What do you think, if you had to guess?
Arc length.
There you go. So we have to reduce that down to a simple horizontal distance. And why do you think we have to do that? What would be the main function for reducing that?
I mean, obviously to make the math easier, but
Because the land isn't level doesn't mean that the land is curved because it's not level. So I understand what he's saying, but
elevation, we can strip the topography away. This is well out, Ryan. Okay? Land surveying is the science of measurements. It's what it is. This is not guesswork anymore. We have ECF coordinates now, where we have Earth center to Earth fixed. Sure, there's other people trying to catch up. We've got new datums. In fact, there's a new datum coming out within the next couple of years. That's going to bring the datums that have rose 1 meter to 2 meters over the last since the NAV 29. And so we'll get out of NAV 29 into 88, and we'll go from 88 into the new orthometric stuff. And that's all fine and dandy. But I think here's the first thing that you need to do. What very simple observation, and I'm not talking about breaking out a camera, because I don't think enough of you really understand refraction. Like right now, if I asked you to draw me right now, because I can do it, can you? To draw me Snell's law on a dry erase board and show me what the angle of incidence is and what its relationship is to the sine function of R, H, and C. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know where to begin because you don't understand.
We just did a 2-hour Globebusters episode on this, Baron. I'm pretty sure I could draw that out for you.
Go ahead, do it.
I'm not going to do it right now. I'm streaming this, just so you understand, I'm streaming this using my computer and my phone at the same time to YouTube and Rockfin, so I can't use my computer to do crap. But if you have a diagram pulled up, then I can tell you where those things are.
Okay, I can draw it out for you right now on a dry erase board. And then you can show me where the angle of incidence is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to turn my camera on. Okay.
Here, let me make you bigger.
Okay. So we have a rectangle shape. The homogeneous state is going to be air and water. Okay? This is water, this is air. Obviously, anything perpendicular isn't going to work. So we'll bring it in here. Show me where the angle of incidence is.
Angle of incidence. Now, wouldn't that be the angle that the light is actually coming into the median?
Yeah, where is that?
That's right up. Well, shit, how are you going to see me point it? I just said where the light is coming into the median. So, yeah, sure, R point.
Okay, so R. This is H, right? This is C, and this is A. So if the light comes in, right, this direction, and we were to create a line all the way to where it hits the edge of this tank, that would be C. There is a relationship here now. This is just a sine function. So what we have here, if I draw a line perpendicular here, like this is a relationship. This is I. This is R. The equation would be sine R, or no, I'm sorry, sine I over sine R. Because this relationship here is a ratio. So it doesn't matter what angle the light comes in as long as it's not perpendicular to the surface of the medium. This relationship is always constant, and that's the law of refraction. So
well, I would like some acknowledgement that I totally crushed your challenge.
What do you mean? How'd you, so solve this? I'll give you the function.
No, you said you said, oh, you want me to actually solve it. I thought you just wanted me to point out the angle.
I'll give you, so, all right, so knowing this, so what does this mean to you? Okay, let's see if you can crush this.
I'm not super good at math, just so you know.
Well,
but I do understand the basics of refraction.
okay, all right, so what is this? Show it to me right here.
I can't.
Okay, so this is N, which equals the law of refraction. This is the refractive index. That's what N is. This equals N. Do you see how you can solve this? This is a right triangle.
Sure.
See that? Okay. So just so that we're all on the same page. So when you're talking about refraction, how do you identify it? How do you apply it? What sort of tools would you use? And then ultimately, how would you correct for it? So that's kind of where this all gets. So when you're talking about horizons and stuff, when you're talking about horizons, you know, refraction, geometry, trigonometry, things of that nature. You ever heard of the old rule when it comes to your observer height squared by 1.22 or whatever?
Remind me.
So there's something called the old rule. Look at that. I would encourage you to look at that. I would also encourage you guys to look at state plane coordinates. I'd also encourage you guys to look at a simple horizontal distance measuring the Earth's radius without angles. So, and I don't know how you wave those things away, but maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just being on TikTok is really the goal for you guys. I don't know. But
well, to make it as simply as I can to encompass all those phenomena into one thing as much as I can, even though there is, you know, slight differences, would be that what you guys are doing is you have a mathematical model that you then check observations for, and as long as the breadcrumbs line up, you say, okay, well, that's obviously confirmation. The thing is that in the measurements that I've seen, you know, from any of the surveyors, and I know that you can say, well, it's established and it works, and I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but we do know that the whole idea that the Euclidean space thing that we're seeing in, right? That we're seeing in these perfect straight lines, and that kind of what you said, Baron, how we should be able to draw a straight line from one person a mile away at 4 feet high and draw it straight out, and that will be 4 miles, 4 feet high exactly. If you shot that point. But the thing is that we're actually seeing in hyperbolic space, not Euclidean. There are experiments called the alley experiments, which actually show that we see spherical access and in excess depending on how far away an observation is. And I don't see any of that taken into account in any of the math for the surveying or the line of sight projections whatsoever. So, I mean, not saying it doesn't work, right? It can work, but how does that 100% verify the model? Is it exclusive evidence that the Earth is a globe, or is it possible that there's another way to survey?
Another way to survey.
Or I should say another way to interpret the data.
Another way to interpret the data. So this would be, yeah, I guess you can go into some sort of think tank and sort of kick this kind of stuff around.
Well, if I may, Baron, I definitely recommend, if you want to get more of an idea of what like the flat earthers are thinking, I definitely recommend checking out Globebusters Tech. We kind of go in and work out some of the nitty gritty things. One of which that we just tackled was line of sight observations and how things kind of, even with no obstruction whatsoever, this was observed on a floor of a warehouse. No obstruction whatsoever. They took multiple pictures at various distances, and the further away you got, the more the bottom of these two weights that they had across the floor would blur from the bottom up, mind you, and this would.
We're talking about optics now. I'm talking about measurements. Obviously, okay, if I put an object on my kitchen table that's 5 inches high, okay, no matter what I do on that table, any obstruction that may appear from the bottom up isn't a physical obstruction, which means I can use math to now give me the actual elevation of the finished pavement, whatever it is, whatever I have, a mailbox, whatever it is. What you're talking about are optical illusions. You're trying to say that when there's an obstruction, like for instance, across, like, we'll just say Lake Pontchartrain, right? Because the data's in on that. It's been in for a long time. You can go look at this stuff. No,
I have a picture of Lake Pontchartrain on my phone that shows it straight. So, I mean, I think it's funny that we say the data's in on it.
It is. The data's in, okay? Optics, when we get into optics, sure. I saw a video where a dude made it look like water was coming up from the ground into a garden hose. Obviously, we know that's not true. The data on that's not, you know what I mean? It's in on that. We know that.
Sure.
Like, so Lake Pontchartrain, right? Go look at the horizontal geodetic diagram for that bridge before it was even built. The geodesy that took place on that lake before they built that bridge. So anyone who says that curvature wasn't accounted for when they built that bridge, it absolutely was, because they had to maintain a certain level of height from that bridge to the surface of the water. That's just engineering, and that's the precision of it.
Yeah, that's Baron. I'm sorry. I would call BS that the bridge has to stay the same level over the water the whole way. I live in Florida. There's bridges everywhere. They almost never do that.
Right. Well, so they do. They certain height from pavement to the surface of the water because they have to take into account 100 years flood. There's a mathematical equation. Same thing when they design scuppers, storm drains, catch basins, retention basins, detention.
What about
basins.
the bridges that let the boats underneath? They obviously curve up, and like there's no way you can say that maintains the same level over the water. They demonstrably have a hill.
I think there's a misunderstanding in what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is there's a tolerance, right? So there's a minimum that bridge has to be erected from the. I mean, obviously, if you put a bridge too close to the surface elevation of the water and something happens, there could be a loss of life.
Sure.
And so whenever you think about loss of life, when it comes to engineering and construction and building, the insurance starts getting big. You have to start bonding several companies to build a bridge like that. Now, so there has to be a minimum. Now, when you look at the Pontchartrain Bridge, disregarding the areas that they built and engineered to allow boats and other certain barges to come through, obviously those things are going to be higher, but it's never going to dip down lower.
Sure.
Do you get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
so
makes
that's
sense.
that's really where this is going. But so when you stand on the I think it's the south end of the Lake Pontchartrain Lake, and you look at the Lakeway Center, and you look at and mark out hitting with my on that building, and mark it and measure down, I'm going to have 12 feet. That's not.
If you walk over, so it's going to be different if you actually walk over because the optics are going to change. But if you're trying to shoot a line to an object, right, then yes, your optics are going to play a role in what you are attempting to measure, right? Until you actually go over there and verify it. Yeah, when you get what I'm saying.
I do. Yeah, I do. And so please go look at, I did a video, you don't have to watch my video, but I did a video on, I got the information from Jesse Kozlowski, and I went through and interpreted, all I did is I just took the change in elevation with the azimuth and inversed the longitude and latitude coordinates and came up with the state plane coordinates, what told me the rate of curvature. Basically what I did is it's 3 points in one line, okay? If the Earth is flat, those 3 points would remain in line. If the Earth is not flat, the distance from A to B would be the simple distance from A to C to A to B together would be larger than the simple horizontal distance, and that shows you that you have a horizontal curve.
So I'd like to address that point specifically. The reason why people on my side of the camp aren't convinced by this whatsoever is because it's actually been demonstrated. I'm trying to remember who did the demonstration. It might have been Dave, but Dave usually takes from other people's demonstrations. So I'm trying to think of who did it originally. But what you can do is over a countertop or a flat table, you can take dominoes and you can line them up. And the dominoes are definitely flat, like they're definitely flat over the table. There's no way around it. And what you can do is if you are below the top of the dominoes, right? So if you're above it, it's a little bit different. But if you're, let's say you put your phone camera down even with the table and to where it's like eye level with the dominoes, then you actually see the dominoes arc in the distance. And it actually looks just like the images of the Lake Pontchartrain that I've seen where you can actually see the bridge go up and then dramatically arc down. It looks the same. And if you drew lines using that picture, you get the same effect, right? You would actually see them not staying parallel with the lines, and then you would say, okay, well, obviously this means that there's dipping, that these dominoes are dipping behind something. But we know that's not true. This is optics at work. Now, imagine you're like an actual thing, right? Like an ant on this table. If you are an ant and you actually walk over to the other side of those dominoes, you're going to look back over to the other side, and you're going to see that same drop. So now what you have is what's going on here on the Earth. You have two observers looking over at a distance, seeing this drop, which is optical, and then assuming that it's a physical drop with no way to actually verify if it's optical or physical. You see what I'm saying?
And I get it. You're for whatever reason you want to stay in this sort of illusionary type of thinking, and so I would encourage you to look more towards the geometry and mathematics behind perspective, and or download an angular, download a.
So the dominoes demonstration isn't real. It's just we're just gonna hand wave it.
Well, the reason why it's not real is because it's on a flat table.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying here? So.
No, but I don't. So what I understand is that
I can create a horizontal line. All right. I can take a horizontal line and put it 2 inches, well, however big your dominoes are on that table. You can line them up however you want to line them up. All right. And I can take and create a horizontal tangent that slices halfway through all those dominoes, and then I can measure from that horizontal line to the top of those dominoes to find out if there's a departure from that horizontal.
So
that is not optics. That's a physical measurement that I can actually take in real time.
Okay, so hold on. When you say departure from horizontal,
Yes.
What exactly do you mean by that?
So if you take that level, whatever level you're using, I like using a theodolite personally myself. They're depending on what type of theodolite you have. They're very accurate.
You're talking about the drop though, right?
Yes, from that horizontal.
Right. So that's what I was just saying. We literally see that drop from horizontal with the distant dominoes on the flat table, and you're just saying it's not a thing.
How are you measuring that? With what tool are you measuring that with? Your eyes?
No, so what you do, is you take a picture of it, right? And then you take the picture and you put it into the computer. And then you draw the lines, the horizontal lines with the computer. So that way you know the lines are straight. And that way you can also see if there's departure from horizontal, which you don't even really need to, we don't even need to kid ourselves. If you just look, it looks like the Lake Pontchartrain. It curves down in the distance. We would measure that as departure from horizontal.
How are you measuring that departure from horizontal?
Let's say I had a little theodolite. It's an optic. It's literally optics. I'm looking at it through something, and then let's say that something has crosshairs. I'm just shooting it, right? I'm using line of sight to shoot it.
Are you going to have a departure from horizontal?
Yes.
I bet you your TikTok account right now you're not.
Oh, I'll have to go get the demonstration video coming soon.
We'll make a deal right now. I'll delete both my accounts and walk away if you can or whatever. I mean, I'll even help you walk you through this because I'd love to see this. My head would spin, honestly. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. So this is what you're saying. So you line your dominoes up on your flat level on both ends. There's no grade change whatsoever. Okay?
Right.
On your table. And you erect a level halfway between the dominoes. Okay? Like a string. Take a toothpick over here or a popsicle stick over there. And both are level. So that string is slicing halfway through, okay? Those dominoes. And then you take another string and put it to the tops of all those dominoes. You're telling me the distance between the two strings is going to get bigger?
No, such a straw man. The distance between the strings is not going to change. The optics. No, okay, so this is the difference between actually measuring, verifying something, and using optics to try to measure something. So what we're talking about is looking. Hold on, don't interrupt. What we're talking about is looking horizontal with and drawing horizontal lines and then seeing that departure. Not that there's a physical departure from horizontal. There's not going to be a physical departure. If you had level lines, right, amongst those dominoes, then no, the distance between those lines, because they're parallel, is not going to literally change. However, it will optically change from the observer.
We can do all kinds of stuff to make things look a certain way. I get it. I'm not concerned with how things look. I'm concerned with how things measure.
So, Baron, so this is what I'm saying, right? When we're talking about measuring across the bridge, right? We're comparing the bridge directly to the dominoes, right? The bridge is the dominoes is the bridge. We're looking across, right? The difference is that we can't like stand over the table from this third observer point, right? This would be the only difference with Lake Pontchartrain is that we don't have the third observer point. So here's what I'm trying to say. What you're calling a measurement, is you looking across the bridge and seeing a drop from this crosshair in the theodolite.
No.
Okay.
No, that is not true.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Can do that. No, I'm reducing a sloped distance into a horizontal distance. I'm flattening out a curve.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm talking about here? So what I'm saying here is I'm creating a horizontal line of sight, okay, that slices all the way across that lake. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
The bridge, if there is a departure from that horizontal,
you're saying exactly what I said, and I don't know why. I don't know where the confusion is here, to be honest, Baron.
The confusion is you want to play around with optics. I want to use measurements.
You said look. You said you're going to create a horizontal line of sight from the observer, right? How is optics not going to play a factor here? It obviously will.
We talked about the dominoes. You were on board with that. You understood that, right? With the strings, pretty simple. Okay.
Yep.
So are you still saying there will be a departure from that horizontal?
Optically, yes. Physically, no.
Okay.
So if you had a hard level, right? If you had an actual steel beam.
So now take that, and apply it to Lake Pontchartrain.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow what you said. So you're saying take the measurements of Lake Pontchartrain, and you're saying there's curvature there.
Take the idea, right? So you've got your dominoes lined out on the table. Now, the dominoes could look a certain way, okay? So we need to ask ourselves, how can we determine with what we're seeing optically with measurements? Do these things add up? Do they match? Is this real time, all right? And so what I'm saying here is we have an established way. There's several ways you can do this, but a lot of them you guys aren't going to like because it involves GPS. But I would use GPS. I'd make this real easy, and I would just walk along that bridge every 1,500 feet and collect a data point. I'd take that data point back in the office and see a curve. Pretty simple, But for whatever reason, that's not good enough. I don't know why. I don't know why you would not trust GPS in that instance, but trust it to give you the elevation at the top of Mount Everest. Because how do you think we got the elevation of Mount Everest? We didn't run a
Well,
bench.
Baron, the problem with the bridge is that, yes, I can agree with you that the water, it has to stay a certain, has to have a minimum height above the water, sure. But again, every bridge that I've ever been on, I mean, I don't know bridges that are just even across the water. Like they all arc up a little bit and then arc back down. And this probably has to do with just the strength of the bridge, right? It has nothing to do with like the curvature of the earth. It's just how to make the bridge stronger.
It has to do with tides and in the event that there's a big flood in water.
That's just the minimum, right? The minimum I get. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual arc. Like minimum aside, there's still going to be a minimum, but even at the middle, the bridge is going to be right. It's not going to be the minimum all the way across.
That's not true. From the chord length, it will be because there's an arc there, but on the surface of the water, no. On the surface of the water, it's going to maintain that distance all the way through, disregarding, of course, the areas that are drawbridges or, arcs that they've built up in order to let, barges pass through. I mean, go look at the data. I mean, like I said, the data is in. I know you laughed at that. I don't know how hard you've looked at it or if you're even concerned with it, but there's about 6,000 data points that Jesse took. Now, what I'm more interested in is I pulled up an old geodetic horizontal schematic of that lake, and in fact, I'm still waiting on getting the actual construction documents to show, explicitly that curvature of the earth is accounted for when you build something that long over a body of water. There's no way around that, unless you're going to say that those guys made all that stuff up. I don't know how do you deal with that?
How do I deal with the claim that hasn't even been verified that they are taking into account the curvature and these things? I mean, I've heard the exact opposite, up until now, so I'd have to look into it.
If you need help with the data, I'll walk you through it.
I mean, I would almost guarantee and bet my channel that there is going to be a massive assumption in the data. So,
what do you mean a massive assumption?
A massive assumption, like I almost guarantee that there's going to be a mathematical. I'm trying to think of the proper wording, but basically a mathematical explain away. Like, in other words, we're going to act as if it's level. We're going to act as if there's no curvature taken into account, but then we're going to have something mathematically in where you could put it in there and make it look like there is curvature.
They never. You have to account for the curvature. That's what I'm telling you. You have to, and that's exactly what they did. You can go look at it yourself. I don't.
So how big is Lake Pontchartrain? Like how far?
I'm going to say about 24 miles across.
Okay, but you just said that you took a survey of 40 miles and only came up with 8 inches, basically, of curvature. So, I mean, you mean to tell me that this bridge is going to be
That's what I
catastrophic
said.
failure over
No,
four,
no,
over...
that's what I said. You just misunderstood what I said.
Okay.
I never said in 40 miles there's only 8 inches. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
I said in 40 miles, I came up with the rate of 67 hundredths of foot in each mile.
Oh, okay.
All right.
8 inches per mile. Gotcha.
Right. And so how do you measure 8 inches per mile squared? Have you ever even tried it? How do you know it's not a real formula? And how do you know? Basically what I'm asking you is I'm telling you I have the measurement. I have video. I've got field books. I've got data. Where are your measurements that dispute mine?
Well, I don't have personal measurements, and you know that. So,
Okay. So why are you trying to convince
why are
me?
you flattered or?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It almost seems like you're saying you're searching for the truth, yet you don't have a behavior in line with that value. You're not doing anything.
So my measurements, no, Baron, my measurements would be the fact that we're seeing way too far over like hundreds of miles. Like, for example, the Canigou Mountains, which you guys just hand wave away. You take these little tiny things, and then you have a mathematical model, and then you even have to presuppose the whole lat launch system, which again is going to presuppose the ball to work the math within. And then you give this to us on a platter and say, here you go, because the math works, this means it's real.
I'm asking you to come up with show me the real values is what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to invest your time and show me the effort. I don't want to see a YouTube.
So how would I show you? How would I show you a measurement of no curvature, though?
Okay.
What would you accept?
I would accept you taking, like I said, a level and putting it up 5 foot. Just put it right at the shore of the water, where your toes are touching the water. Okay. And from the water or the shoreline to the center of that piece of equipment, there'll be a little line on it, whatever that is. Put that up right at 5 feet, just to where you can see through it, to where it matches your eye level. So at your eye level across water, I want you to hit a target at the same height across the water. I would be convinced.
Well, the problem with the laser experiments.
No, not a laser. I never said anything about a laser.
How do we hit?
I'm saying with that instrument, an auto level or with the autolite. Just make sure you're 90 degree perpendicular to the Earth's surface. That's it. Your line of sight will remain.
Don't we have to go 70 miles supposedly for just 1 degree drop?
Yeah, a degree, sure, but in 1 mile you should have about a minute. Roughly a minute in 1 mile.
But then again, how does this take into account hyperbolic geometry? Because you want us to. This is the problem: is that you want us to do you only want us to do a confirmation of your model without taking into account hyperbolic geometry at all. You want us to assume Euclidean geometry is fact.
Well, I don't. I mean, do you or do you not ascribe to Euclidean geometry?
That's actually the whole point of contention, right? So Euclidean geometry is a thing that exists, but we observe and take our measurements, our optical measurements, even the theodolite, right? Things are dropping in hyperbolic space. It's not Euclidean.
Who's we? Because you've said you don't have any measurements. Right? So what sort of experiment can you do that will prove to me a flat Earth? Easy. Take a level, erect it 5 feet from the surface of the water at the shoreline, and take that tangent, extend it across the water 1 mile, 2 miles, whatever, at the same height as your eye level, and hit that target, and I'll be convinced.
Well, Baron, although that might be happy with, I think that it is something that can be done, but even if we do it, what's to stop you from hand waving it away with refraction?
Well, so here's what's going to happen with refraction.
Great point.
Refraction, if you want the math on it, I'll show you where refraction will hit. And so because I know these numbers and because refraction is a constant, I already know where refraction is going to hit. But I'll leave out the correction for the Earth's curvature part. I'll give you the refraction part, but the curvature part, that's the part that you have to contend with. Because both those together would be subtractive, but refraction on its own would be added. So
Sure. What and I would ask, what refraction are you going with? Standard refraction? Or are you actually going to use the Snell's law? And then I would ask, how are you going to determine the incident angle? Are you going to make the proper change of incident angle of curve versus flat?
No, let's just pick a nice cool day and let's get the sun directly in the zenith.
Fair enough.
You know, we'll go with that. But I want a minimum. Let's go with just so that we can, because the margin of error with the instrument. Let's say you run with, I don't know what kind of money you have, but if I could afford it, I mean I can, but I just haven't gone that route yet. But if I could afford it, I would go with, like, let's say a wild T3, something like half an arc second of error, right? I'd grab that sucker. There's no digital readout on it. It's point and shoot, right? So there's no funky stuff going on. There's no built-in, NASA stuff in there. I would point that sucker and I'm going to say, let's do 3 miles, because then the drop from the tangent would be 6 feet. That way, the margin for error with refraction, there can't be any excuses made. You either hit the target or you don't.
Right. And I actually, I do like the idea of it, because it's the same exact type of experiments that flat earthers were doing before, only we're adding in another element of data, which is the theodolite shooting. So, yeah, I don't have any issues with that whatsoever.
You don't want to put a laser across water, man. I mean, I laid pipe for 10 years. I was underground. I was a utility foreman for 10 years before I got into surveying. And one of the things I learned about lasers, red dot, even green dot, over any distance, when you start, introducing, the hot and cold air, it creates a sort of, circular duct that takes place, like a column almost, and makes that laser appear as if it's drifting. So it becomes like an unspecified glob of light that you're just basically going to see over your head. And for whatever reason, Flat Earth thinks because they can see the laser, that proves a flat Earth. I want to see you hit a target. That's what you're there for. You're there to hit a target. You're not there to just have to find a place out in the celestial sphere or that light bisects with, and I have to do the geometry myself to figure out how high your laser really is, because for whatever reason, you guys think that proves a flat Earth. I want explicit data from Flat Earth. I want Flat Earth to actually take measurements. Stop with the mirrors and the smoke. I want to see, like FE Corps. FE Corps went out to Lake Balaton. Why did they use a laser? They're supposed to be surveyors. There's geodetic control at that lake. All you have to do is create your own level line, run a bench loop, kick a leg, go right back to that geodetic point, tie into it, and show me the true values with whatever methodology you need to use. And they didn't do that. And I don't understand that. To me, it tells me that people are intentionally being dishonest and then projecting that onto me, saying I'm the dishonest guy. Well, in my experience with this is squeaky wheel gets the oil. Because you don't know anything about me. So it's difficult to say I'm a dishonest person. All I'm doing is providing the data. That's it. I would love for Flat Earth to make life very easy for me. Unfortunately, that's just not the reality of it. You can ask any surveyor on the planet.
Baron, and just so you're aware, I do appreciate you, because you do come off as more genuine than other Globers that I have talked to. And just by the sheer fact that you actually offer up experiments in ways that we can actually go back and forth instead of just doing the standard hand wave and repeat of fallacious deep arguments. So appreciate that. And I don't think that you're disingenuous. You've been educated. If anything, I just think that you're mistaken, right? Not that you're being disingenuous, and that goes for a majority of people out here who support the globe. It takes a lot for me to call somebody, a liar. But in any case, I do see that there's a lot of people in the box. And I do apologize. It's actually 15 minutes past the time that I wanted to go. So I do want to give the panel one last opportunity to make one final point, and then I was going to go ahead and call it a day. If you did just join and you want to catch the full conversation, be sure to go check out the YouTube and Rockfin at Troubling Tribune. We do have the whole entire thing streamed, and we will be doing this again. I believe we're going to be having another one tomorrow, so I do appreciate everybody tuning in. But Baron, go ahead.
All right. What would you like me to add, or what am I doing here? I'm adding something.
Just final thoughts before I close it down.
So the final thought is this: if you and I are building a house together, and I give you the dimensions for a board to cut, and tell you I want you, Troubling Tribune, to cut me a board at 4 foot wide by 5 feet long, and you go over and you cut that board and bring it to me, and I reject it, and I tell you to go cut another one, and you go cut another one, and you bring it to me and I reject it, and you go cut another one and you bring it to me, at what point, Troubling Tribune, do I actually have to pull out a tape measure and measure the board that I keep telling you before I asked you to cut? Okay. So, Troubling Tribune, at what point are you going to go out and measure the board?
So here's what I have done, Baron, just so that you do know. What I have done is I've done local experiments where I have demonstrated that things can disappear bottom up. My cup and a kitchen counter, which I would like you to sit down with me maybe and figure out how we can do some measurements, calculations on that, and then you can maybe see what I'm talking about, how an optical drop can be measured as a physical drop, and I wouldn't know how we could actually verify it. So that's part of the conversations that I really like having. The issue that I'm seeing is that I don't know how we're able to 100% verify that it's a physical thing and not an optical thing when we have experiments of things dipping down and even disappearing over flat surfaces. But that's just my 2 cents on there. We'll obviously have more conversations in the future. Culture, fire away, my friend.
Yeah, man. I just wanna say, with all the theories and what we get educated with through history, and as things change. So mathematical equations that we once used are no longer void. People come up with new equations every day. Everything's theory. I like what he said. Do your own research, but within doing your own research, we have to keep an open mind. So shout out to you for having your page. I appreciate you letting me up.
Absolutely. And I know I said I was going to end it. You just give me 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes, man. The floor is yours. Thanks for coming on.
It'll probably be shorter than that. That was a overestimate. So the dominoes thing you pulled up, I pulled up the original video, and this is the setup they have. They have the dominoes correct on a flat table, but they have it curving off to the side. On Google Earth here, I'm actually at Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana. We can see, other than, and it might be kind of hard to spot, but there's some power lines here that kind of go off to the side. But then we go into the main span. I took a screenshot from here, went on to just paint, just to put a line over it. Those power lines go perfectly straight for the observation. So trying to say that
that's not
the same thing is not, it's not true. It's just blatantly dishonest.
Average, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've actually seen that one that you're looking at. I've seen a different one. I'm going to try to pull up the one that I've seen myself here for a video tomorrow.
This one, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. That is the view that I've seen.
Yeah, so it's the same video, just they were showing it at a different angle. These domino, or it's actually like Legos, they have them curving off to the side to show that effect. But in reality, we don't have that. The power lines go in a straight line.
Well, fair observation.
That's all. I was like losing my mind down there because I know that you're not going to be one to fight for it if you see it, right? You're going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if that's clear as day, right? If that's what's going on, then that's what's going on. And at this point, the best thing that I could do would be to try to recreate the whole thing myself. So that's the next step. I can get some dominoes pretty easy. The kid story.
Right, that's all I had to say, though. I was like losing my mind. I was gonna my brain was about to pop.
I do have a comment from Mr. Found Intelligence. Host is like, no, the one I saw is in 2K. Okay, never mind. I misread that one. I thought they were gonna say there's another one. I was like, man, okay. But yeah, that explanation does make sense, Average Glober. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep, for sure. All right, thanks for letting me up. That was it.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
All right, guys. Let me go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate everybody coming on. I see another person in the guest box, but again, we are shutting it down. Thanks for smashing the likes. We got to 17,000. That's awesome. The True Earth Debate. Where is it that the heck that we live? What is the nature of it? We are getting into that on this channel. So if you guys just made it in, sorry to tell you, we're closing it down. Go ahead and head on over to my YouTube and Rockfin. You can check out the full stream over there. Lots of great conversations. We do appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. My audience has a sick outro that they get to listen to, so I'm going to go meet up over with them. And I'll catch you guys next.
Alrighty, folks. Let's go ahead and get this back going. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another excellent edition of the True Earth Debate. Man, I am pretty exhausted. It has been a long week. Looking forward to going back over some of the summit video. Is going to be awesome. Looks like I got some things to shout out. Let's go ahead and head on over to the chats and see what we got going on over in the Rockfin. We got a $5 donation from Fishhead, Montana. I'll pay right now to show this proof. Verified myself from 81 miles. Dang. I wish I would have seen this during the TikTok. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this right now, and hopefully there's no music in it. The square butt. Is this what you meant to send me? Okay. Is this the view? I don't know. Not sure what I'm looking at here. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I'm looking at here. So I'm just going to go back. Forget that I've seen that for now. Fishhead, Montana, if you want to clarify that, shoot me an email, troublingtribune@gmail.com. All right. And then we'll shout out everybody else. Nominal. What is up, my friend? Cody Ford. We got Derek Bernier. People do not and cannot stand antipodal from each other at the same reality. They either meet in the middle, feet first, or come out on the other side, upside down. Not sure what you mean there. It sounded pretty funny, though. Vape and Shred. What is up, MrTribune? You need to tell them the size of the sun in your model. The size of the sun, how it's staying up there, and what is light, right? All right. Who else do we got? Shane St. Pierre. This guy is about as fourth of as smart as he thinks he is. That's funny. That's pretty accurate. You know, people get really indoctrinated in their way of thinking, right? But it's what it is. All right. That does it for the Rockfin. Let's go ahead and shout out the YouTube legends. Oh, Flat Power, Justin Johnson with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, guys. You are awesome, helping keep the show afloat. Things are really getting down to the wire over here, so it is appreciated. Flat Sabbath. Globe surveyors should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty with those corrections, right? There is no atoms to distort the line of sight with the dominoes on the table. Dr. Law, that's a good observation as well. FE Nation, what is up, my friend? Thrash List, Smith, Austin, Murphy, One, Neo. I hope everybody grabbed those gifts, those memberships. We're going to be adding some new badges, some sick new badges. You guys are going to love it. And then also some more emojis. Going to be awesome. Daryl Davis, Kevin DeChill, or Kevin. I can never remember. Matthew Pipp, Black Swan over 10 miles at 1 foot observer height. That is the known numbers. Debunks the globe. Take that, Baron. But then he's going to accuse us of not understanding refraction, right? It's so funny. You're like, but you can't name the incidence angle. I'm like, dude, whatever. Ace, what is up? Chillin', Darth Mocker. Big Pine Sailing, Jess Palmer. Space audits. What is up? Your planner measurement device can't distinguish between curved visual space and so-called Earth curvature. Exactly. Ruef. Check the messages in Discord. Ruef, my Discord got deleted. Email me at troublingtribune@gmail.com. Ooh. Yeah, I hate to misquote bad evidence, man, on the dominoes thing. Oh, well. It is what it is, and it's important to make the correction when you have it right. So if they were not in a straight line, then it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Make God great again. What is up? Mel Low. David J. All right, guys, I could do this all night, chatting and chilling with y'all, but we do got to actually call it a day, right? So let's go ahead and get this super sick electronic vibe going. We do appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us for another awesome show. You guys really do help make it really interesting. Most of this is done for y'all. So, and just a little bit for me because I do like to argue. But we'll go ahead and leave you with this. I will see you guys Sunday for the Tribune show and possibly the early light. I'm pretty sure that we do have that going on over at the Mellow Dome, so it should be awesome. And then Monday is going to be the day, the fated arrival, the confrontation between David, myself, and Joel, the space lover, is going to be awesome. You guys will not want to miss it. I'll see you there. Peace. Until next time.